But yeah, let's move on. Last year during the NFL season, Dapper Labs launched NFL All Day. It was just in beta. Some people were, I don't want to say lucky enough to get into it because it wasn't like it was a big deal. I minted a couple of these packs throughout the playoffs and they were cool. I'm not a huge NFL fan myself. I'll watch it, definitely watch the Super Bowl and I'll get into it. But it really didn't quite have the same captivation as NBA Top Shot did, right? We all know the story about NBA Top Shot. It was incredibly profitable. They really kind of seemed to over dilute their supply. But a lot of people that got into NBA Top Shot moved on to the NFT market. And I think it's a really, really good case that the NBA Top Shot really kickstarted the NFT bull run that we saw over the past year. Now the NFL All Day is going live to the public. Anybody that wants to participate in this now will be able to. And I'm just wondering, right? Is this something that maybe could possibly bring us out of the depression that we see? NBA fans and NFL fans, there are definitely crossover in terms of their fan base, but the NFL is a much, much bigger, more popular sport. And the fans involved in NFL are very, very willing to spend on collectibles. Do you think that this is bullish? I saw Drip just pulled up the screen. When you look at the NFL fan bases that annually spend the most money on team merchandise and gear, there's a handful of about 10 NFL teams that their average fan spends at least $200 a year on collectibles. And keep in mind, there are a lot of fans, and I'm sure there are a lot of fans that spend close to zero in terms of that too. So there are people that will spend big, big money just on the collectibles. There's also a lot of money spent in going to these games, in the food and beverage in these games. It is a rabid fan base, and I do think that having these first time digital collectibles with a brand that has some trust with the general population, like Dapper. Everybody knows about NBA Top Shot and what they did. I think this is going to be exciting, and I do think that there could be a lot of carryover into the NFT marketplace once the time is ready to come.
I think it definitely is gonna. It's definitely a step in the right direction towards mainstream adoption. I think there's two ways that NFTs will get fully integrated with culture and society, and that's going to be sports and then obviously gaming. We haven't figured out the gaming side of it yet. I think NBA Top Shot definitely touched, or Dapper Labs, I guess, definitely tapped into something early on. I don't know if that was the perfect combination of people having their stimulus checks and nothing else to do, or or what I don't know what made it blow up so much, but it definitely tapped into something that is going to potentially explode again. Like you said, they saturated their market so much that it's actually a lot harder to make money in that space now. And I think that's why a lot of people went to other NFTs, because that's where the actual opportunity is. So I don't know if this is necessarily going to be a good way for people to cash in and make a ton of money, but it definitely is going to be, a way that fans up sports, especially NFL teams, will get into the space. I think there's still a lot of learning that needs to happen, because it's a little easier with like Top Shot. You can use your credit card and all that, but it's definitely a step in the right direction, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think kind of like Drip said, I think it is a step in the right direction. I, as an individual, hate Dapper and I want to fist fight them because of my experiences with them. So as long as they just stop sucking, I think that it'll be great. But I think
is there something you want to talk about here?
There's the worst, man. That's what I got. I got into the Top Shots early on, and then just like tried to remove my money, and they're like, "Nope, sorry, but we're gonna charge you to not send you your money." So that's my experience with Dapper. So as long as they're not doing that kind of BS anymore, I think it's great. But just any eyes on the space is good, especially for like an industry like the NFL, which is just ginormous. I don't follow NFL. I'm a big F1 fan, but and they've tried to dabble into the space a bit. It hasn't really landed, but this I think could do well.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that needs to happen with these is cheap quality displays for people to actually show them off. I think once fans in their, I see so many things on like Instagram and people showing it off of like their game room, like in the basement or their man cave, that it's just like decked out in like Cowboys collectibles or, Browns jerseys everywhere. Like it's a real thing to have like an entire room dedicated to your football team, and you watch it there and do all of that stuff. I think if they can leverage and collaborate with a display of some type that's cheap, accessible, and of good quality, that people can display their actual Top Shot moments on, rather than just have them behind the scenes like, oh, check out my Top Shot on my phone. Like, what does that mean? Once people could see it hanging on the wall, I think there's a very real and very visceral experience to that. And
Don't we kind of already have that though? I mean, think of like your Instagram, your feed, or think of like your Facebook wall. Like it's, I mean, once, I mean, actually, I didn't even mean to pick that company, but like they've already integrated wallets and stuff. So it's like another possible way to show off your moments or whatever they're calling them these days. Like,
yeah, in
and
an
show off
in an
your NFTs.
online environment, but I'm just saying, like,
Mhm.
in that room, like there's a screen mounted on your wall that's just like playing
Yeah,
that,
no,
like,
absolutely.
yeah, like I think that's actually one of the big things for NFTs that need to kind of really take hold. I think you'll see a huge spike in generative art and all of that kind of stuff really come to fruition too. But in terms of the NFL stuff, like I'm actually excited about this. There's a willingness to spend and there's a willingness to consume, and it's a new, narrative. I actually believe that there's going to be a lot of influencers and stuff that start picking this up come football time, to get views, to get clicks, and it might just kick something off here. I'm not completely sure, but uh, you know, history rhymes.
Agreed.